up, Hoss? Been a doozy. Happy, let's see, Taurus, full moon, total eclipse, Sun Scorpio, conjunct Uranus. We're here though. I am like a fried little turkey, just burnt to a crisp. So I intended to have notes about all of the astrological aspects going on right now, but I've just been going too fast and I've been too busy, and I had to go vote this morning and I worked late last night and did our video. So, it is what it is. But I feel confident that we can just channel it all through anyway. And it doesn't matter the specifics because you can find them anywhere you want to on the internet. But if you're feeling uncomfortable, well, welcome to the challenge, girl. Even the planets are uncomfortable right now. We have Uranus shaking an already sensitive and catalytic and volatile situation up with, so the moon right now is in Taurus and it is full, and it is opposite the sun, which is in Scorpio. The North Node and the South Node are activated, and they have been in, so the South Node has been in Scorpio and the North Node has been in Taurus. And what that means is the South Node is the karmic lessons from the past that we are have learned, embodied, and we're moving forward away from. We're letting go and releasing those, there's no more to be had there. And the point of our life, this is like the past lives, the past in our current life, the distant past, the current past, the recent past, our familial bloodlines. We can carry the sins of the generations and, learned behavioral, thought, and emotional patterns for up to 7 generations, right? So karma follows, that you have to work out for your family. Some ringing in my ear just then, so I feel like that's definitely something to take note of. So right now, you're being faced with a lot of things for a reason. The North Node of the moon points you toward where your destiny is taking you in this life. So it's like the fated life, the fated path is what the cards were dealt to you, sort of like what you laid out in soul contracts before you came here in your tikkun. As you do the correction of tikkun, you create your destiny, which is like the choices and the transformation that you're doing in the now. And so you're rewriting the script. But you get in accordance of your good works, according to your faith, it is done unto you. So you have to work on your consciousness, right? The Christ consciousness is like a discipline. It's like a way of living. It's following these paths of ascension that are connected to these archetypes that we're always studying. And so we can overcome our fate and be the masters of our destiny by how we choose to show up in this moment. So this whole year, we've been coming out of I guess I'm moving some, I should grab a blue stone. Okay, grab some soda light. This soda light showed up in my things from childhood randomly, and we never would have had the budget or the wherewithal to buy a precious stone. So this is my angel soda light that just showed up spontaneously. So back to it. So the purpose of this life that we're in is to say, okay, this is my fate, this is my tikkun, these are my assignments, these are my soul contracts, these are the things that I need to evolve, transcend, transmute, heal, correct, turn a 180 in this life. And in doing that, it's you offload yourself of all this density and you shed these layers, and then you're elevated and uplifted, and you can more easily find harmony and alignment with the divine cosmic flow And then that's when you're like feeling fulfilled and you're like in alignment with your authentic self, and you're feeling like a sense of purpose and a sense that you're being guided and directed, and you're actually showing up and following suit. So all of the planets and stars right now are, you know, aligned and opposing and retrograde and direct, and they're all like putting in their 2 cents, because we are going through this portal of initiation where we're leaving the old behind, like in a major way, like sequel to the movie, a whole new season of the show. And we're being asked and invited, like the initiation is like step by step by step. And this whole year, it's like you might feel like when, you know, it just keeps coming at me from every angle. It's because each time you've been given an opportunity to go through an initiation that will take you one further step through this like bridge, this liminal space, through these portals of initiation into the new life. But each step is kind of deciding like who you are becoming and what story you're writing for the coming season. So pause, reflect, and think, like with the movie guy voice in your head, what is like the opening like music in your preview? What's movie guy narrating? Coming this January, insert your name here, blah, blah, blah. Like you're the character. So like what kind of music is playing? What's the movie guy? What's the narrators, you know, telling the audience like that they can look forward to about the unfolding of this character and the story and the plot? What kind of plot are you wanting to live? What kind of character do you want to be when you show up to your own story that you are now being asked and invited to say, hey, look, you can rewrite this script, but you have to take an active role. You have to claim sovereignty over yourself, and you have to pass these initiations in order to kind of set yourself up with the tools and the resources and the self that you must become in order to create the reality that you want to live in and be able to sustain it, right? Another way to say that is called building and sustaining the vessel. Through a process of earning, right? Because that's how we build the muscles, the character, the know-how, the wherewithal, right? The persistence to continue on and carry through. So it's like this initiation has been going on, and Saturn is getting involved. I think that Saturn is coming back from being retrograde and has gone direct, but did I hear that it was like going to briefly be retrograde again in somewhere? I don't know. But like teacher's back. And it's time to, it's like, you know, the final exams are like, what are those called? Thesis isn't due, but like we want to see progress. So let's present to the class what you've gotten so far. And you're like, what the fuck? Time, embodiment time, people. Hope you're ready. Like you're on. Mic's hot, lights are on, showtime. Your audience is waiting. What the fuck? I'm not even done getting ready yet. So hopefully you've prepared, because now it's time to start embodying the new self, and you're starting to see previews of what's to come. But we're in this sort of like fork in the road where, you know, the temptations of the past, the fears of the past, the insecurities of the past, the voices from the past. One of the things that we're being asked to do right now, like we're being asked to say goodbye to all of those things that didn't work, to those relationship dynamics with our, you know, maybe our siblings or our parents. Definitely, it's time to cut those strings. Grandparents, whatever, generationally, we need to leave our father's house as Abraham did and become our own people and become our own men and women and individuals, and not let anyone validate us for good or for bad, right? No one can take that from us. Nobody can shame me. Nobody can guilt me. Nobody can build me up and put me on a pedestal either, because I'm not sitting on it. You know, it's like I'm being realistic. I'm showing up in the now. I'm having more affinity with the light. I'm learning cause consciousness. That's what we've been learning together. So that means that we're not affected by, you know, the crowd cheering us on or booing us, either way, because we're validated from a higher source within, and we are like on a process with a discipline, with a self-discipline of self-mastery and ascension. And so we know that if we keep taking these steps the beautiful machinery of the cosmos is going to work like a well-oiled machine. And it's like almost like the science of spirituality. We know that, you know, if we put a little bit of this here and offload a little bit of this here, the alchemy is going to transmute first the inside of how we are operating from our intrinsic realm. You know, are we connected to the voice of the higher self within, which is always connected to source? You know, are we aware that the fullness of the light is the essence of every cell in our being, that we're hardly solid at all, that we're mostly just light, so that we have the fullness of the light of the Creator within every piece of us? And we can activate that, and we're meant to, but we have to do it through free will. So it's a process that we go through where we learn self-mastery, in that we set our own vibrational thermometer and we don't let the winds of change blow us to and fro. We have to stay solid. We have to be eternal, sustaining, perpetual, unchanging. And so when you become unchanging and solid, and you have a solid foundation that you stand on and you're not rocked to and fro, that means that you're the strongest energy in the room, and it doesn't matter what other people's intentions are. If they haven't done the work of the self-mastery, then their energy is all over the place, and you're going to be the most powerful influence. And so others are going to be lifted because you have learned how to purify yourself and offload, you know, so much of this negativity in order to reveal more light, right? So it's this purification process. These dying 1,000 little ego deaths, you know, but not getting caught up in an ecstasy of sadness and just being trapped in the mires of despair and tragedy and self-loathing and self-pity. It's like we have to let all of that old stuff burn to ash. Looking for other people's permission or approval, let go of the regrets, let go of the relationships that never worked, that weren't right, let go of the relationship dynamics, you know, set the boundaries, the dynamics that aren't working, and set the boundaries that you need to set. You want to start overcoming the self-imposed limitations and open up in vulnerability, but establish healthy boundaries for yourself. You need to learn these things and start putting them into practice. And, you know, be the ruler of all the kingdoms of your life, so that you can be the emperor or the empress, right? Who has like, dominion over like their kingdoms, multiple kingdoms. Mind, heart, body, soul, spirit. We're being asked to align. So we can either go back to the past and keep clinging on to things that we don't want to let go of, or transcend, or give up, or change, or transmute. And that's going to be very uncomfortable. The lessons are going to keep showing up, and they're going to keep getting louder and louder and louder. And if you're confused, you're not being asked to like double down even harder, deeper into the fears, deeper into the self-loathing and the scarcity. You're being asked to do a 180 into freedom, into liberation, into inner peace, into being more comfortable with where your heart and soul are leading you, and having less guilt about having a desire and a goal and a dream. Like, it's not just like, you know, I think that a lot of us who are raised in religious households are taught that anything that we desire or want, or anything that we had an idea of, is automatically bad and wrong, and just to let God and Jesus guide you every step of the way. And it's like, it has this like fearful, flaccid flavor to it. And it's like, you can be divinely guided and let the path of Christ guide your way, but it's also about being liberated and understanding that you were given those dreams, and you know, you're a unique person who has a unique expression and a unique assignment to radiate the light in this life as a beacon, as a ambassador. And so you have a responsibility to do that, and it's up to you to be about your Father's work and leave your Father's house and go across the lake and hang out with the Gentiles, even though you're not supposed. Jesus, we're not supposed to go across the lake. It's like, let's go across the lake. We can't, like, we're just like in an echo chamber over here. Like, we got to go over there and see the forbidden folks, right? So we're changing. And if we go the other way, if we decide, okay, I'm going to let go of the past, I'm going to let go of what hasn't worked, I'm going to let go of the routines that are taking my energy but aren't returning investment. You know, I'm going to keep embracing and expanding upon the things that are working, that are nurturing me, that are growing all of the goals and the kingdoms, right, in my life. and nurturing and healing all of those. So basically that's what's going on in a nutshell. Venus is in Scorpio, so even though you want everything to be like super beautiful and like, you know, romantic and whimsical right now, it just isn't yet. But like, I think you're moving in that direction because all of these themes that are involving Taurus have to do with our values. Oh yeah, I didn't finish the North Node and the South Node thing. So the Scorpio being in the South Node has been transforming, like bringing like a death and rebirth to all the things in the North Node, Taurus, that we value, that we place our time, energy, resources in. You know, our home, like who we are, how we take care of ourselves, how we start to begin to express ourselves in a material way in the outer world. So at first it begins like, you know, internally in the intrinsic, and then as that shift and that transmutation happens, it starts to reveal itself in the manifestation of the extrinsic. So right now you might feel all this building energy and suspense, and it's because all of this potential is crystallizing, but it's going through a process, so it's not like any more chaotic than it kind of is. And so yeah, I think we should just get started in the reading. Because once again, I have to go to work and I have an alarm set and it's gonna go off and I'm gonna have to pause this, and I'm just hoping that I'll have enough time to edit this video and get it uploaded before I go to work. All right, we're gonna do a Celtic cross with my straightforward oracle. This is my oracle deck that I am writing at the moment, and this first card is going to represent who we are in the context of this moment right now. Prosperity and abundance. Yes, no matter what things appear to be right now, so like if you take the invitation to the other side, instead of clinging to the past, you're going to be invited into this new way, this new life, these new, like an emotional renewal, new experiences, you know, new blessings, right? But you can't keep holding on to the past and have that too, right? You have to sacrifice that, release that energy to be transmuted in order for you to really start fresh, like clean cut, you know, decisive, move forward, don't look back. Lot's wife looked back and she became a frozen pillar of salt, frozen in bitterness, not able to move forward, right? So don't be a salty pillar. Focus on the past, move into the future where abundance and prosperity are waiting for you, and in every way, shape, and form. And they're being like, you're being invited, and it's like, come see what lies ahead and awaits. And you're like, is this a trick? I feel like this is a trick. And maybe it's not. I think it's really like, finally, like it's what we want. We just can't believe it because it's always been a trick. But it's really, I think that things are like really shaping up because we've been doing the work, and the whole thing right now is if you can like face your theme, the thing that challenges you in life, it might be, and for a lot of us, it's to tell certain people and certain institutions and things to like, you know, stick it where the sun doesn't shine, and to like do that whole like snap, you know, talk to the hand and then turn around and it's like R-E-S-P-E-C-T, you know, that moment in the movie where you're like, and then you know what, and then you walk out, and it's like you don't have to literally do that, but energetically, like kind of that's the assignment. It's like, I don't care what you think, mom, dad, like I'm gonna honor you anyway, but I'm gonna do my own thing, I'm gonna be my own person. Like I don't care if society, like, or you know, like if this isn't gonna return what I need it to, then I'm not gonna put, you know, any. So it's like it's all about, you know, that song, take this job and shove it. It's not like don't go out and quit your job, but it's like that attitude right now about all that bullshit from before, and like being like, I've got better things to come, right? What's crossing us now? Okay, so let's slow down. Who we are in the context of now, prosperity and abundance. So keep moving forward, keep accepting the invitation, right, that life is offering you to take you to next. Okay, prosperity and abundance. You have plenty. Do something small to affirm your abundance to yourself. You have sneaky lack hiding in the shadows of your perceptions. Nip it in the bud before it causes problems. So because you're being invited to this up level, your ego is going to be like, Can I make you feel small, unworthy, unvaluable? Can I make you feel like your needs don't matter, that you'll never like live up to expectations? Like, you know, it's like, so that lack, that scarcity, that feeling like you need to have control, you need to know what's happening. The time is now, time's running out. Oh, it has to be this way. It can only be this way. Like any of that kind of thinking is the ego. It's the opponent rising to you, always in the level, equal with you now. Never to be like avoided. So just get used to it. It's going to be there. What's crossing us is a timeout. So this is a chance to catch your breath. This is a chance to reflect on what you want in your coming story, like for real, and embracing all the things that really light you up and are exciting to you. And then actually like moving forward and taking action in alignment with that. Slow and steady wins the race, right? Just one grounded step after another that you feel is divinely guided, that feels all, you know, it's all good and in alignment. Follow that, but don't rush anything. Take a time out and just like kind of like coast through the rest of the year, because I think that that's really the best use of time right now, is just to regroup, finish up the things that you wanted to sort of like tie up loose ends, finish up where you're at, but you don't have to feel like you have to like keep like hustling and pushing and pushing and pushing. Just like rinse and repeat and just refine the good like routines and systems and practices and all of the things that have been positive and nurturing for you this year. Just keep doing that and just trust that the next couple of months will be renewing, they'll be exciting, there'll be a lot going on. So don't push yourself too far and too hard. Just use the energy you have wisely, because I really think that like everything's going to start moving forward very quickly in 2023, because it's going to be a year where like the foundation is still setting now, but then once 2023 rolls out, like we're going to be able to start building on that and building structures and like start to see the frameworks coming and taking effect. Deep sleep. Okay, so the subconscious pattern that's affecting us right now, the subconscious influence, is a deep sleep. So there's something that probably this eclipse is awakening within us. You probably also need to get more rest, because we are having like cellular upgrades in our energy fields and within our body. And so we need lots of rest. We need lots of water. We need lots of good, healthy food. And we need good sleep, good salt baths. If you can get out and like put your feet on the ground, that would be very helpful. Anything you can do to ground your energy, Epsom salt in the tub, drinking tons of water, flushing your system, like anything you can do right now. But deep sleep is like very important. I feel kind of like I haven't had enough sleep recently, and that's like the hardest thing for me. So sleep is really important. And also during sleep, your soul kind of like astral projects out of your body and goes into a space, a limbo of sort of like a daily judgment day, where you are sort of like held accountable, and you like present like, okay, this is, you know, what you've corrected that day and what you've learned and what you've transcended and what you've faced. And so it's a cleansing process. It's like a mini death every night, where your soul goes through like a soul car wash and an evaluation. And so then it comes back into your body refreshed. But you really need to get into a deep sleep in order for it to do that and have time to really cycle through. I know, right? So be sure to get that sleep. Okay, this is an influence from the past that is affecting us now. Don't be lazy. Okay, so boredom, apathy, lazy, sluggish, discontent, stagnation, atrophy, losing momentum, don't leave empty vessels for chaos, earn the light, push through, indifference, and procrastination. Okay, so I think what's happening here, because this is in the past influence catching up to us now, but it's like starting to dissipate. This is the lesson that is still affecting us, but we're moving through it. And so it's because Taurus, the cocoon shadow of Taurus is stagnation and laziness, because Taurus is slow moving, that they can lose their momentum and they can get very settled and very like still and like solid like rocks, and very earthy and very like not moving. So we need to stir up the energy Deep clean your house, feng shui, get like some sage going and really like mix up the energy in your space, get rid of clutter. But just get over the tendency to lose momentum, to lose steam, to get lax on the routines that were helping you, that were healthy. Stick by those and continue to do them. The concept of leaving empty vessels. Don't leave empty vessels means don't start something and not finish it. Don't start talking about how you're going to do something and not follow through. When you leave those empty vessels, it's like you're taking energy from people going like, oh, that's a great idea. Or, oh yeah, you feel so self-satisfied because you're like, well, I'm going to do this, but then you don't do it. It's like you've stolen the energy and the satisfaction, but you're racking up a karmic debt that's going to be unfolding in chaos that you're going to have to correct the negativity by process of purification, which is the chaos, which you have to transmute and, gives you strength, which it opens potential, but you can't do that on purpose because then it works against you. So don't be lazy, stick with your routines, be aware of your tendency to atrophy. But that is also like, you won't be, like it could be a cycle where you haven't gotten enough rest and taken enough time outs regularly. And so then you're like overly tired all the time. And so then you get into habits of laziness. So what you need to do, that's why Shabbat, weekly Shabbat is so important, because every week you need a rhythm of that whole like completely like shutting down, unplugging, like rejuvenating, like recharging. Okay, what's crowning us? Balance, spending, and saving. This is a great theme coming up now because Venus is the ruler of Taurus and Libra. And Taurus is like really big in the picture right now with our Taurus full moon. And so Taurus asks us, and so we're transmuting our values, right? And the way that we express ourselves physically in accordance with our values. So one of those, like the themes that Venus governs, two of them that are prominently connected are love and money. And so what we value, our spending, like how we respect money, how we treat money, our relationship to money, is a very positive thing to look at right now, because what we want to do is be making sure that we're being fairly compensated, that we are doing things that are productive with our money, that we're not wasting it, that we're figuring out ways to pay off debt, we're figuring out ways to set ourselves up where we can be growing our money and having our money grow itself instead of just trying to like tread water and keep up with inflation, right? So balance spending and saving. It's going to set you up for even more security, even more stability, even more wealth, even more growth, right? It is wise to try to grow wealth. Listen to your intuition. Inner guidance, psychic impulse, ESP, instincts, gut response. What is the quiet whisper telling you? How do you feel inside when you bring this to mind, right? So when you bring the thing or whatever to mind, how does it make you feel inside your body? Do you feel sick, shutting down, like contracting, like heavy, like oh, dread? Or are you like ooh, hee, ha, like excited and even like excited, like oh, like ooh, like push through your comfort zone, right? So how do you feel? Check in. If it's expansive, keep moving in that direction. If it feels like dreadful, probably avoid that. You're not crazy. Trust your gut. So pay attention. Trust beyond reason right now. Trust your timing. If you feel like for some reason you're like dragging your feet or something, you don't know why, trust. Maybe there's something down the road that you're meant to like, not like maybe you're avoiding a wreck or something, or maybe you will find something really cool because you like waited a few minutes and it was there because of that. So you never know, but trust your gut, trust the ESP impulses and pings right now. And if it feels expansive, if it feels like it's positively pushing you through a comfort zone, then take action on it. And I think remember, we're going through these like initiations, right? So part of that is learning to follow your intuition and act on impulse and instinct, not like a default setting impulse, because we don't want to react in a reactive way because our ego or our fears or our scarcity are controlling us, or even like being overly excited and like caught up and like swept away. But like when we know how to discern, and it's a process, it takes a while to learn the difference between all of those things. But as you kind of like take action, it's like, well, it's a trial and error, right? It's like, okay, think back, like if you made a mistake and you like misjudged, it's like, okay, well, how did I feel? Did I misinterpret it? You know, and if like, you'll find that like, oh my God, I did this and it all worked out, or I got this and like, this was a big surprise. So just surrender to the cosmic flow of the universe. Okay, your perspective affecting you right now, unavoidable fate. So this is sort of like, we're becoming aware when these things show up that have already always been written into the storyline that are part of like the initiation process. So the more you can maintain awareness and presence and consciousness and ask and question why these things are coming up in your story, why these things are coming up in your movie, you know, how would your higher self, like this next chapter version of you, meet this situation? It's like allowing you this time to choose your destiny, but first you have to surrender and acknowledge and accept the hand that you're dealt. You can't fight it, you can't avoid it, you can't wish it was something else, you can't like shoulda, coulda, woulda. You just have to surrender to what is unavoidable right now. And I think we're starting to get that. And I think that like sometimes the universe has to like beat us until we're so tired that we're just like, remember all the 10 of Swords we were getting with the chick? She's just like, oh my God. So yeah, so we're starting to understand the context of this right now. And we're just like, okay, surrender to the sweet release of like this death process. And we are ready to like rise up anew, resurrected, a new person. Okay. Party is over. So outer perspective coming in, how other people's influence is on you. I think that there's an influence that's coming in that might require us to clean up our habits or tighten it up a little bit. Get our act together, even though you've been working on it. Like you might have to even step up further. And like usually whatever you're calling in, whether it be a next level in your career, a soulmate partnership, new experiences, those new experiences are just outside of where you are, like as far as your experience level, your confidence level, your so many things, right? Because like just beyond your already demonstrated idea of what your self-limitations are, right? We're always pushing against our growth edge, right? So like it's time to sort of stop being lazy or overindulgent and like get back on track and get our shits together. My tank top this is my mom's tank top from the 70s, and it's like her original cuts, which I think is awesome. It's like kind of got this lace thing going on, but I did not want to lose a boob on camera. And I'm also wearing this is also vintage, but it's my vintage. It's a wet sill vest from the late 90s, early 2000s. So very vintage. I'm feeling very Benny and June with my like suspenders and everything. And then this hat is actually a vintage bowler hat from Paris, from probably, I don't know, when were the bowler hats, 1920s, Peaky Blinders era. So that's pretty neat, pretty cool. Okay, cool. So, indulgence time. Let's read the notes on here. See, I haven't written this card fully out yet. Party's over. Overindulgence. Detox. Time to buckle down. Balance is needed. Sober up. You need a sense of purpose. Honeymoon is over. Time to get to work. So, it's like if you've been procrastinating on a project, it's time to get focused, right? And it's like you haven't been, it's like you're right on time. It's just that it's like, wake up, we're at grandma's, put your shoes on. If you have been sort of like overly healing and picking at the wound. Like, it's time to embody, it's time to take action. If you've been, you know, making like business plans, it's time to start like taking like small actions in that arena. You know, it's good to detox your body right now because of all of these cellular upgrades. And get your habits in order, right? And establish those habits, especially if you are trying to attract a new relationship or a new partner, if you're open to that, because you really need to establish yourself and your own routines in such a way that if you bring any of these new influences into your life, like a new job, a new career level, a new person, you are solid in your foundation and they're not going to pull you off track. You're going to be able to maintain and not get too distracted and maintain your own sense of self and like stay like, you know, stay the course, but also keep a balance of like allowing people in. It's just like you need to like really like make sure that you're fully aware of like who you are and what you want and what you want to be doing so that you can like not get off track, stay focused. Okay. Hopes and fears. Creation phase 2. Bina. Activity. Lots to do. Nothing is done for me. Oh my God. Same phrase again. Honeymoon is over. Awakening to give. My vision is now challenged. Activity. Challenge. Honeymoon is over. The vision is challenged. I have to choose to give. I have to change. I have to stretch in order to manifest. I have to execute. I have to grow. I have to evolve, to tackle, to face, to confront. I have to give my soul to this. The danger is the illusion of the dream is so fulfilling. Oh, the danger is the illusion of the dream is so fulfilling. Like you're projecting like this fantasy on the dream and you get caught in the dream world of imagining, of planning, right? But you're not taking action because you don't want to take the perfection of the potential and like die to that fantasy and like bring it out into the real world. It's funny, like the female is the gate and the portal of death in life. And the moment a baby is born, it's like you give the life, but the other side of the coin is you also give the baby death as well. So the danger is the illusion of the dream is so fulfilling. The key to that is to be so fulfilled even before the having of the thing that you don't even need the thing anymore. And like when you can be that released, it's like that's when the thing comes because you're not needing it. It's just like you don't feel any lack there. And then the dream doesn't have hold or like sway or dominion over you or control. In phase 2 of creation, everything has changed because your vessel to experience more light has given you the space to change and to reveal that idea a bit more. Binah says, I am giving everything, my heart and soul to this. I am manifesting this energy. I'm committed. I'm making this happen. I'm surrendering to the now. I'm giving myself to this and bringing it down from the consciousness of the ethereal, like abstractness of just pure light, and make it and bring it down into the physical. I'm all in. I'm all in. Share, give everything. Meaning keep investing in this project, keep pushing past resistance, keep grinding down, keep persisting. I'm going to commit all of myself to this. And the change that we were talking about before, the transformation, it's not doubling down so much on how you've always been, but like think about the ways that you're being asked to actually do a 180, but like double down in the effort that you're putting in. When you're in creation phase 2, that's sort of like act 2 in the movie. It's like you're being presented with all of this challenge and this resistance so you can cut your teeth, so you can, cut your claws and get your grit and your strength and show the universe that you want this more than anything and that you're willing to do whatever it takes to continue, to push through, right? And that's how you pass the initiation and win the boon, the blessing, and you get to other phases of creation. But right now, this is kind of a comforting message in the position of our hopes and fears, because we are hoping that we are, you know, showing up to these challenges in the hope that eventually things are going to work out, that our manifestation is going to crystallize and we are going to get our goals and live up to these next level dreams for our life. That's our hopes, but our fears are like, wait, we're being challenged so much. Like, are we going to be able to rise to the occasion? Will it ever happen? Like, is it cursed? Like, what's happening? So it's like we're being asked to overcome those fears and put faith and certainty in the light that you're going to follow your honest, authentic, deepest truth. You're not going to lie to yourself. You're going to really follow your gut guidance. Do your best to show up. Give, knowing that you're going to be, the challenge is that it's going to seem like nothing is happening. And the challenge is that you have to push through anyway and keep going, keep staying the course of the positive transformation, right? Don't double down in your darkness or the way, like your stubbornness or whatever. Don't harden. Keep putting effort into the expansion, right? Just keep pushing through, and I feel like it's really coming, but like it's like we just got to ride out the end of the year, y'all. And then the final outcome, what is our final outcome? Okay. Creation phase 4. Oh my God, you guys, the final phase of creation, the manifestation is coming. Oh my God. Manifestation, doing the work. Where are my blocks? What layers of the ego need to be removed? What actions do I need to take in the 1%, meaning the physical reality? The 99% of our reality is intrinsic. It's not material. It's energy. It's light. It's the influence of our lightness and darkness that we bring to any given moment, right? It's the vibration. So the 1% is the seeming like physicality, right? So what actions do I need to be taking in the 1% and the physical to marry the internal work and the external work and focus on where you want to make the shift? So, y'all, don't give up on yourself. Do not let appearances, like the seeming appearance of things like being amiss or like not materializing, like it's just an illusion, right? So stick with it. Trust in certainty that everything is unfolding in a proper, like good time, just the way it needs to, and just be present in the moment and just have fun. And this is so funny. So, okay, we got 7 of Cups. We are like looking at the situation. We're like, what the fuck is all this going on? What do we have here? We're looking at all of our values, you know, our dreams, our goals, our fears, what we desire, where we're being led next, all of our options. What are we doing? Where's our direction taking us? Where's our intentions taking us? Like, can we get all of these things in alignment with our actions and our divine guidance? So we're like in this dreamy state where these eclipses are bringing forth all of these things from our unconscious and our subconscious, and we're looking at them and we're like, okay, what is all this telling me? What do I really want out of all of this? What do I want to materialize from all of this? Uranus, like I couldn't describe Uranus in a better card than the Tower. Sudden change, these epiphanies, these revelations are going to be happening, and they're going to be like crumbling. All of our false senses of security are coming to light, and we're seeing it. So there's no reason to resist the change. Just allow the transformation to happen, right? And I feel like the Tower, like the lightning is already struck, right? It's just like allowing that process to like finish out so that we can have this emotionally renewing moment that the Ace of Cups is offering us. It's like, oh, this new experience of life, this new perspective, this whole shift in your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. New experiences are offered, new friendships, new interests, new romantic options, right? Like, life is starting to offer us invitations that reflect this overflowing of emotional renewal that we've been working so hard towards. And oh my God, you guys, we've been able to get our kingdoms in order, and now we're getting the Empress card, which is, the Empress is the balance of divine masculine and feminine, who is represented by Venus. She's sitting comfortable in her beautiful environment that she's worked so hard for, but she is like reaping the benefits. She's been profitable. She's been successful. She's been able to rule over her many kingdoms. And now she's sitting in comfort and in confidence and in beauty surrounding her, right? In this like whimsical, you know, relaxed, surrendered state, and her divine feminine receiving the bounty. So super exciting and completely on track with the unfolding plot, if you ask me. Let's pull a Angel Wisdom Tarot card. Okay, what is like, oh, balance. I'm not surprised. Temperance. Blending the ideas of others with your own to create something extraordinary. Successful compromise. The power of diversity. Self-control, patience, and balance. So definitely patience, self-control, and balance came up in our reading for yesterday. If you haven't already, I would say go watch this week's Oracle forecast video that I put up on Sunday. It talks about the overall energy for the week. It'll supplement this workshop and give more layers of depth. Yesterday also was a great video to go back and watch that talks about like the anchor energy for the rest of the week that's going to be unfolding. And there's a lot of themes that are tied in that you should be aware of from yesterday. But the fact that not rushing it, this moment in life right now, like take your time in the unfolding, because every moment is offering you an invitation to either accept something wonderful or pass a challenge, pass a test, you know, and start embodying this new self. So take it slow, have patience, don't be reactive, practice the self-mastery and the self-control that you've been building. Balance is the key. We're not wanting to go extreme in either direction. We're wanting to strike balance, right? Because everything out in life is so polarized right now out in the world, but polarization is when the scales are off balance and we're going from virtue, which is balance, into vice mode, right? So it's when those governing forces are like off balance in reality that we're in vice, we're in conflict, and we need to do this correction and cleansing to bring things back into balance. Also, there's like this blending and integration coming in, and maybe you're afraid that differences mean incompatibility, but when they might be actually like close enough to be able to integrate and evolve and like cross-pollinate, like, you know, like the good version of a GMO situation where you're like doing a hybrid strand of like a couple of weed plants, you know, that you think may be like counteractive, but maybe they make the perfect strand. Does that make sense? To people that may seem like they could have like these differences that could be conflicting, but maybe they're actually lending one another like a fairly balanced perspective from another point of view that will actually help each other learn things and expand like their ideas. Maybe different people are bringing different talents to the picture, and you're like finding people that you can collaborate with on things that help expand your skills and what you're doing, and that like everybody like starts like growing and winning even more because like they're adding to like a communal effort, but it's like you're learning from everybody in the situation, so you're all growing because of it. Yes. And then, yeah, adding everybody else's skills in, or someone else's ideas, or like working with a partner on something that creates something even more wonderful, even more extraordinary than had, you know, the two of you tried to do the same thing but alone. Like if you had the same idea, or, you know, even a group or like an organization, it's like all of the collaborative effort adds to the magic. It adds to the uniqueness. It's like a unique pairing or whatever. All right, what moon card do we need for the next, it's gonna guide us to make the most of the next couple of weeks? Communication is key, new moon in Gemini. So one of the things that's going on is that Mars is retrograde in Gemini. So we're getting really realistic and honest about like the things that are in our life, and who is honest and like in alignment with like doing what they say and backing up their words. Like who's walking their walk and talking their talk, and who's just like talking shit, right? So we are not suffering any fools, right? We're getting really like clear about the things and the themes and the characters that are coming into this next story and the things that aren't. But we're needing to slow down about how we communicate that, because it can be very brash and it can be very difficult to have communication right now. So you can do it in a non-physical way, in a remote way, in a like you can have communication with someone on a telepathic psychic level, like you can have confrontation on a soul level before you ever actually try to do it in person directly to them, because you can prepare the energy ahead of time. And sometimes what needs to be communicated, it's done successfully, and like transformation happens without the physical confrontation, or enough can change to set you up to have a more healthy conversation when the time comes and it's right. So just accepting that the timing of the communication that you want to have may be feeling like slowed down or frustrating, and you maybe want to like be pushing forward with your ideas and your goals and things like that and your intentions, but taking your time is key right now, and refining how you can communicate and your communication skills, right? Maybe you're feeling a little bit of creative writer's block or something right now, and you're being asked to push through that, even if it's just sitting in front of an empty page for an hour and just letting that, like just showing up, being willing, right? Even if it doesn't look like it's gonna be productive, even if it looks like it's gonna be a slow night at the restaurant, it always is. I'm always like, I don't care, we'll always get that pop, and we do, right? And every time I think I don't have anything to say in a video, as soon as I press record, talk for an hour, right? So just trust, give yourself to the process. All right, let's see, let's check in with the magical mermaids and dolphins about our goals and manifestations. Oh my gosh, we're at like 51 minutes. My alarm's gonna go off any minute. Ooh, waves of prosperity, new abundance, and exciting opportunities wash over you now. That's pretty in vein with all of the other themes that have been coming up. Healing the heart, I know that's true. You're a powerful healer. Keep up the great work. So I love this. It looks like two people in water. They're like having like, it looks like a heart healing ceremony, which makes me think if you have like access to like that really good cacao, like those, that's like a heart healing opening act to do. I don't know the proper steps or recipe, but someone did one for me once, like a friend that she came over and did one. It was really, really, really like I could feel my heart chakra like opening. Rest, you've been working hard, take a nap and get some rest. So yeah, take some time this week to do the things that you love doing the most, that rejuvenate you. I know I just like wandering around in the woods behind my house for like hours and like letting my mind wander and like write poetry and reading and working on my card deck and like just taking pictures and just allowing myself to like my mind to quiet. Do your version of that. Like let yourself do that. Whenever I get that card, and it's been coming up like a lot recently, I feel like whenever I follow that instinct to do those things that rejuvenate me, something really great happens. Positive energy, surround yourself with positive people and situations and avoid negativity. Again, cut out all of those toxic influences in your life so that you can have the best version of this next season of life, in the show of life of you, where you're the star. Okay, let's check in with our love life. In true form, with the Scorpio eclipse, full moon in Taurus, release your ex. Like, it's time to let go of the relationships that haven't worked. Anybody that you've already gone out with and tried it with that hasn't worked, fuck them. It's over. Don't look back. Release the ex. We keep having this theme come up, and I know it's hard to do that, but just allow yourself to completely get them out of your wash them out of your hair, get them out of your energy field. If it's so meant to be, it'll come back around, but it's probably not, and you're probably holding yourself back, and that's probably one of the sacrifices and the initiations you're being asked to make right now, because there's probably some opportunity that's nearby, if you haven't kind of crossed paths with it already, that's offering you an opportunity or an invitation or something curious to explore. You know, life's trying to play with you. It's trying to invite you into new experiences, but you have to release the past in order to really like step into having fun in the now. Okay. And we need to be cultivating our bliss and our joy, because that's going to be making us magnetic for the future that we want to create. Okay, it is safe for you to love. What is this? Flirt. Healing family issues. Typical. Okay, cool. So we talked about those apron strings earlier. Time to leave our Father's house. Time to like stop worrying about letting our parents affect us. People can have this struggle for their whole life, even when they're elderly with their own children and grandchildren and their parents are long and dead. They're still struggling with the sins of the generation, with the you know, projections that were pushed on them, the beliefs that were you know, they were inherited by their parents and their parents and their parents. It's like all of these assumptions you need to let go of, and you need to do your version of love, your version of relationships, your version of the future that you see for yourself. And it doesn't have to be the way that you fear that it's always been in the past, right? For what you knew. It's time to heal the wounds that you have between your mother and your father. And chances are you've already been working on those things. And if you have, then good job, because the eclipse is going to be pushing you through this portal and supporting all of this change you've already been making. And it's going to be like pushing you into this happy future that's awaiting. But in order to get there, it's like you need to release your ex, you need to forgive your parents, you need to get that healing, that big baggage at least started and initiated and out of the way. And hopefully you've already been doing it. And if you have already been doing it, then maybe you'll meet someone who's also already been doing it, right? And maybe it's actually safe for you to explore and flirt and have fun and see where it's going, right? So trust your discernment, see what the universe is offering you, and, you know, allow yourself to flirt and play with the universe. Okay, let's see what Mother Mary has to say. She gets the last word. Tenderness. I am both gentle and powerful. Strength card was one of our cards yesterday, and it's all about strength through gentleness, right? And so, you know, back to that idea where we're not doubling down in hardness and in sternness and in our old set in our old ways. It's like we're doing a 180, and we're opening up and we're tenderizing. And, you know, we're having strong enough boundaries and learning how to take it slow and learning how to like explore and discern before we trust, so that we can be more vulnerable and open, because we are safe, because we have established like good ground rules and boundaries for ourselves, right? And energetic, you know, like things that emotionally energetic, like we've learned not to enmesh, right? We've learned not to be enmeshed and like feel responsible for other people's, you know, intrinsic cultivation. It's like up to them, you know. You're not someone's savior or messiah or healer. You know, you can help if you are being called and your purpose is healing. Even then, it's like you need to let people ask you for help and not push yourself on others, right? It's like, I'm over here if anybody wants to listen, kind of thing. So tenderness, we're opening up to it's like safe to come out, it's safe to be tender, it's safe to get excited about life, it's safe to explore a little bit and play and be curious and have fun and open up to where life is calling us to. So I'm really excited. I think it's good times ahead. I think good times are coming, you guys. And I think that if you keep pushing through against your growth edge and out of your comfort zone, and you keep going against your like initial default setting to want to reach for instant gratification or to anesthetize discomfort, or, you know, try to fix everything and, you know, try to control everything, go against that and allow yourself the time to be divinely guided and then follow those steps. All right, Yins, we've done it. It's 58 minutes. I hope I even have enough space to export this. I gotta get ready to go to work really fast. All right, you guys, I will hopefully get this posted before work, and I will be putting out a show flyer, and I will see you again tomorrow on my day off. Yay, next 3 days off. Bye, ciao.